Hello guys, welcome to 20 something unscripted. Right, my name is Remofilo Sising. I'm a 20-year-old, existing in life. And today's topic is what actually matters in your 20s. And yeah, I just want to tell the truth. I don't know, bro. I don't know. If you came here for answers, I had it. But if you are as confused as me, grab yourself some coffee, let's sit down and have a young discussion.
Yeah.
So your 20s are I'm also in my 20s, but yeah. So they are a very funny age, or a very funny era to exist in, right? Because there's no script, guys. There's no script to this. Yeah, unfortunately, hence why the whole series is called 20 something unscripted, right? Because we are trying to figure it out, guys, right? So this is why this is not a talk but a discussion. You get what I'm saying? So I wrote down a couple of things here that I think we would nicely discuss, right? And I don't know how I'm having a conversation with the camera, but I love you guys. I know you're there. I know you're watching. I know you are going to engage with the content in the comments there, and then maybe in the next video we'll discuss you guys' comments. Who knows, right? So the first thing that you're supposed to have in your 20s, or okay, let me say it like this. In your 20s, there are things that you're told, you're supposed to have figured out. It's almost as if it's a checklist. It's okay, degree, job, money, car in some cases, there's a lot of pressure there, right? And yeah, man, there's just a lot going on, right? And personally, I feel like it leads us as 20-year-olds into a state of panic or a state of pressure, to the point where we run to act like we have it figured out, right? Because I don't want to feel like I'm lost. I don't want to feel like I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't want to feel like I don't have purpose with where my life is going, right? So what will I do? I will create this beautiful character. I will go for this degree. These days they like to call them serious courses, right? I'm gonna go for this serious course, and that will convince people that I have it figured out, right? And that is sort of like my safety net. Yeah, that is my safety net to having it figured out, right? Growing up, my dad, he used to teach me something I like to call childlike curiosity, right? So childlike curiosity is basically you learning things, or being a student to life, right? Being a student to life instead of being a student to school, right? So he would be like, bro, whenever someone is doing something, right, that you want to learn, you have to observe. You have to observe what they are doing. You have to really ask the person questions, right? Because acting like you understand what's going on, or acting like you are a know-it-all, is basically going to limit you. It's going to stagnate your growth as a person, right? And I feel like as people in our 20s, we have never been 20 before, right? We are transitioning from having your parents plan out just your things, to now you transitioning towards being maybe an adult, right? But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is, I'm lost now. But basically what I'm saying is you have to have that childlike curiosity to ask questions, right? You know, a child is born into this world, and to them nothing makes sense, right? Nothing makes sense. And the way that they figure it out is that they'll ask, mommy, why is this, you know, what is that, you know? And they constantly piecing it together. You would see, oh, this is what's going on, oh, that's how this works, oh, that's how this works, right? And through that they are growing, right? They are growing, they are constantly growing. You know, one day the child can't even say a word, next day, bro, niggas giving you full sentences, right? And this is happening at a very fast pace. You will hear someone saying, you know, this child grew up so quickly, right? Because that's how exponential children are in their learning, right? So now, when it comes to us now, I don't know if maybe this comes from school or anything. When it comes to us now at this age, we tend to try and act like we know it all, man. We try to act like we know it all. You don't even want to raise your hand in class anymore because you think, no, I could just, you know, go and study, right? But the process of learning, it's that thing of, you know, engagement, asking questions, right? So it's the same thing that you probably if it worked for you as a child, right, when, you know, your brain was not even fully developed, how much more powerful would it be right now, right? So yeah, so I wouldn't say what actually matters in terms of the, you know, this checklist in our 20s. What matters is not the, I wrote it down right here. What matters in terms of, you know, what matters in terms of this, what matters in your 20s, in terms of this checklist, you want to call it, right, is not, you know, having it figured out, but being in the freedom, being in the freedom that, hey, none of this makes sense, but I am going to have that hunger, that curiosity like a child that will enable me to be able to actually grow, right? And not pretend like I'm growing, right? Which, hey, this worked when I was a kid and it'll probably work now, right? Yeah. Yes. I think that is, yes, that's it. Yes. Yeah. And then also comes this thing of, you know, people trying to another thing that people say matters in your 20s is, you know, networking. Yo, you see this one, networking is what, guys, what people as concept for me, people think about networking, right? So personally for me, networking is not like something I, you know, actively do. You know, if someone else has another opinion, they can say whatever they want to say. But for me, what actually matters in your 20s is not, you know, going to seminars. Yes, you can go to seminars to learn and everything like that, right? But in terms of networking, I don't really think it does matter, but how you do it also matters, right? So what is happening, or at least what I've seen around me, is that currently as people in our 20s, we see each other as stepping stones, you know, stepping stones to get the bag, you know, stepping stones to get, you know, you are my connection to getting what I want to get, right? You are my connection to getting what I want to get, instead of you being a human being who has his own desires, his own dreams, or her own dreams, I'm sorry. Yeah, So people are are less interested in, what is my friend's dream? What are their desires? How can I help them? Right? People are more inclined to, what can I gain from this relationship, instead of what value can I provide in this relationship. And that's what I believe networking to be, right? Networking is you providing value for people that you meet on a daily basis, right? That is how you build a network. And I don't believe that networking as this superficial thing where you just grab random people's numbers is what actually matters in your 20s. It doesn't have that level of substance, that depth. It's just hollow, right? Yeah, I'm just rambling, guys. This is a discussion. Please let's engage in the comments. What are you guys' thoughts on these topics? All that, right? Yeah, I'll try to keep the editing to the minimal, to try and keep this as realistic as possible. So because of this checklist and what we're supposed to have figured out in our 20s, we tend to create this, we tend to have confidence as a default setting. Confidence as a default setting. So in your 20s, if you don't have that curiosity, or if you are trapped in that state of thinking that no, I have it figured out, right? If you're still playing the performance that, hey guys, I have it figured out in my 20s, I know where my life is going because I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that, and it's not coming from here, it's not coming from within. What happens is that you tend to have this superficial, I would like to call it, this superficial confidence, right? This is the one now that leads to you expressing opinions, even about things that you don't even know about, right? And sometimes you even express it, your opinions, to people who have been doing things maybe in that area of expertise for years, right? Instead of learning from someone who is, I'm gonna say it like this, someone who's actually better than you in that area, you are competing with them instead of learning, right? And this is a trap that I think as 20-year-olds we need to escape, right? So that thing that I always refer back to, that childlike curiosity that my dad taught me, and I believe my little brother actually has more than me, is something that is very, very important. And I think it's something that we need to unlearn. We need to unlearn that thing of I know, and be what the Bible actually calls be meek, right? Be meek. I think the verse says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Right? And some people like to confuse that concept of meekness for weakness and being this submissive, right? But that's not what meekness is, right? So to explain what meekness is basically what meekness actually means, right? Is submitting yourself, but not in the soft way that you are thinking, right? So I like to make the example of a wild horse, right? So a wild horse has a lot of energy, has a lot of power, right? But all of it is raw, right? It's raw energy, it's raw power, right? And the horse can just go there, go in multiple directions, do a lot of things, right? But the person who maybe like rides the horse, or the owner of that horse, takes it, right, and milks the horse. And how they milk the horse is that they channel all that power, all that aggressiveness, all that into a particular purpose. You'll have maybe the horse run races, or have the horse, I'm not really an expert on horses, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. All that power needs to be channeled towards a specific direction, right? And if you're not meek, if you don't allow yourself to be channeled towards a specific thing, now you miss out on that channeling, right? And if you have purpose, your drive is just, you will get where you want to get, right? And I always say that is the importance also of of learning, and respecting authority, right? I like when people talk about meekness, I like to imagine this powerful being, this powerful giant who doesn't know what to do with all his power, with all his intellectual ability, with all his, and gets under the authority of someone who is even less stronger, less smarter, but someone who is able to channel them to the right path, to the right direction, right? So I myself, I would like to say I'm submitted to the will of God, right? I believe that, yes, I'm a person of many talents. Yes, I'm a person who thinks that they are intelligent, at least, right? But I would like to say that in whatever talents that God has blessed me with, all of them are futile, right? If I, Remofile Sising, cannot submit myself to His will and His purpose for my life, right? If I don't submit to that, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just like that wild horse. I might as well go to the bushes there and run everywhere, right? Because if there's no authority that you submit yourself to, if there's no direction, there is no direction. Simple. Yeah, I think I went right. Yeah, I went there. I even forgot where I am, right? But anyways, yes, so the next topic that I would like to talk about in terms of what matters in our 20s. I'm sorry, my coffee is getting cold from all this yapping. Like, my coffee is getting cold from all this yapping. But this is fun. Again, I encourage it. This is not me, trying to teach things. Well, I'm kind of teaching based on what I have learned in my life, but I'm also interested in knowing what you guys have learned in your life. I don't know, maybe please guys engage in the comments. As 20-year-olds, we are in this period of life that is full of uncertainty, but I would like to say there's beauty in the unknown, right? And the most boring thing that we could do to ourselves in our 20s is act it out like we have it figured out, right? It is more beautiful, that it is uncertain. It is more beautiful. It's almost like a song, that a hit song, like just then the song just I'm not a music expert, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, so let us engage, let us discuss what actually matters in our 20s, right? Let's talk about the hustle culture, bro. The hustle culture as identity, right? So I would say the hustle culture, hustling is important, working hard is important, right? But what I, Remo Philus, is saying, thinks matters more in your 20s. I would say it's more of finding out who you are, right? Finding out who you are. Who is Remo Philus saying? What is his identity? What are his values? What does he like? What does he dislike? What drives him? What is his passion? More than oh, now I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna make 50K a month. Bro, I'm telling you, you know, I'd like to believe I've been in situations where, you know, I've hustled, I've made a lot of money, been broke, well, most of the time broke, but anyway, right? And what I've found to be more fulfilling, right, is whenever I earn money, or whenever I do something that actually aligns with who I am, or at least who I think I am, right? Give me a break. I'm still figuring it out. But anyway, yeah, it's figuring out who you are, because that journey of figuring out who you are is where you're going to find what you are passionate about, right? And that thing that you find passionate about, man, is something that you're gonna go hammer on. Something that, you know, when you do it, you're gonna do it with so much passion, right? That I believe success is guaranteed, bro. Success has to be guaranteed, bro. There's no way that you can align with the purpose that God has for you and He doesn't provide for you. There's no way, right? So hustle culture, it's good, right? But hustle culture tends to encourage, you know, people, I don't know, man, people lock themselves up in their rooms, you know, with a computer every single day, bro. Bro, those people are miserable, bro. I've seen niggas try to isolate themselves, nah, bro. The reason why these, I don't know, is it a billion? A billion people on Earth? Is it 8 billion? Yeah. There's a reason why there's 8 billion people on Earth. 8 billion, bro. And you want to carry everything by yourself. You think you can do it all by yourself. Bro, you didn't even get to 20 without your parents, bro. You didn't even get to 20 without your friend there next door, Jimmy. You didn't get to 20, bro. You get what I'm saying, bro? Like, you need people. You need people around you, and you need people around you that help you grow, that help you, you know, become a better person every single day, right? Because sometimes, you know, the way you see yourself and the way others see you, right? People can see your mistakes sometimes better than you, correct you, right? And you know, so okay, I'm speaking on hustle culture. Does it matter in our 20s? No. I would say what matters in our 20s is not hustle culture, but it is relationships, right? Creating relationships and relationships with people that those people are people who have the same vision as you, and then you guys together can get there. Even though you guys have your individual dreams, but together we will get there, right? I was watching this series, One Piece, bro. Yeah, I was watching One Piece. It was actually recommended by one of my boys, Siposi Loane. Shout out to him. So basically, you know, you have this guy, you know, stretchy guy, Monkey D. Luffy, right? He has this dream of becoming king of the pirates, right, and finding the One Piece, right? And then there's these other characters popping up with their own dreams, right? Roronoa Zoro wants to become the world's greatest swordsman. You know, that girl, well, oh yeah, that girl's dream was to map the entire earth, and then Usopp wanted to become the greatest warrior. Yeah, but basically, you know, what Luffy did, he took people who also have dreams, but their dreams, his dream low-key helps them achieve theirs, so they might as well journey together, help each other out and get there, right? But society has taught us this hustle culture of, nah, I need to lock in. What about we need to lock in, bro? What about we need to lock in? Because, you know, even in the series, you see how these people are constantly helping each other overcome obstacles, and somehow the journey is becoming easier. These people always had their dreams, but because they're doing it together, they are going there faster. They are going there in a much more peaceful, fun manner, bro. Right? So why can't we, as 20-year-olds, you know, deconstruct this culture and unlearn this culture, this hustle culture that encourages alienation, that encourages loneliness? You know, come on, bro. That doesn't even sound cool, bro. And apparently it has aura. I don't know, bro. But anyways, yeah, there goes Remo again. I'm sorry, guys. You will start to realize that Remo is a yapper. If you are one of my friends, you know how it gets. You know how it gets. But anyway, yes. So another thing that we need to discuss in our 20s, right? Is the metrics, bro. The metrics, right? You know, salaries, social media, productivity apps, you know, busy. Right. So another thing that we need to discuss when we're talking about what matters in your 20s, right, is, oh my days, my coffee's cold, bro. My coffee's cold. Okay, it's not too cold. Yeah, I'm drinking black coffee because you know that YouTuber that goes, as a man, you must have black coffee and stuff, you know. Yeah, I mean, hey guys, we watch a lot of advice on YouTube, bro, of, you know, oh, how do we do this? Oh, how do we do this? Some niggas even use AI in, guys. We are confused as 20-year-olds, and this is why I want to really establish this community of, you know, 20-year-olds discussing amongst themselves, right? Let us be like Monkey D, Luffy and them, and really band together and get there as 20-year-olds, right? And get there together. Let us help each other. Let us build each other. You know, if your friend is working on something and you see how it could be better, tell him, bro, how about you approach it like this? Don't gatekeep, bro. We all have a purpose, because, you know, even the Bible says it. God has a plan for you, plan to prosper you, not to harm you, for all of us, right? So you don't need to worry, you know, that, oh, my boil is gonna be up. Nah, bro. Let us cook. Let us all cook, bro. Right? And if you do it together, trust me, we all get in there, bro. It's gonna be a disaster, bro. But anyway, yeah. So, but again, yeah. So social media, bro. Social media. Mfana, social media, you are scrolling, a 20-year-old has bought themselves a McLaren, McLaren, bro. Yeah, we can say, guys, I also like a McLaren. Like, come on, who wouldn't like a McLaren, right? But social media, man, it sometimes is a bit, it's a bit too much. You wake up and you realize that, oh, I'm behind, right? Or it creates this perception that I am behind, right? And to be honest, it's not healthy. Like, it can't be healthy, bro, because it works on your self-confidence. It works on so many different things, man. And yeah, I don't think any good can come from social media, bro. So I know some people do kind of, what do they call this thing? They call it a dopamine detox or something, right? So a dopamine detox is basically where, is it a dopamine detox? Some people call it a social media fast. Yeah, that's why they call it a social media fast. So you're off social media for a certain period of time, and people always say, I have never felt so confident, I've never felt so energized in my life, I've never felt so maybe that's something I would recommend that we do, or that we practice as people in our 20s, because this is a time where it's very sensitive, bro, and I don't think it's a time where you should be comparing yourselves to other people. No, it is a time where instead of comparing yourselves, you should be not even comparing yourself to you yesterday, but to say, how can I grow today? How can I ask more questions today? How can I learn more today? How can I grow today? Instead of, oh, how can I get a McLaren? How can I get a house? How can I, no, step by step, how can I grow today, right? Because how can I grow today takes it from this big goal that is there to me now today, because that big goal that is there, that is God's problem, bro. I just gotta do what I need to do today, right? I just gotta do what I need to do now, right? God will take care of the rest, bro, right? So these metrics, I don't think they really matter in our 20s. That, hey, I don't have a car at 21, I don't have a house at, no. Growth, I believe growth as the metric of growing is what matters in our 20s. I didn't know I could talk this long. And my coffee is officially cold. Anyways, so the last topic is, that feeling of being left behind. So just to wrap up this video, man, life in your 20s, I would say, once you stop performing, once you stop acting like you know what's going on, once you free yourself and start embracing the uncertainty, life in your 20s is the most beautiful thing. At least from my experience of actually taking my father's advice, is, it's not gonna be easy, for sure. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be like a movie, Netflix. I remember even I once told my father when I came from this other camp in primary school. I was like, hey, why is life so hard? And his response was, that's a very great question, and that question means you are on the right track, right? So I would like to say, right now, your life is hard, but that means you are on the right track, and you have to believe that, because even the Bible says all things work together for your own good, right? And that means that pain that you're going through, that that job maybe that you got that you don't think is paying you enough. Some people are actually praying for, but basically, guys, let's start asking questions. Let's build that childlike curiosity. So here is a challenge, right? For 7 days. For 7 days, which is a week, I would like you guys to start asking questions, right? Questions like why? What is this? I don't understand. I wanna try and start saying things like that and doing things like that and trying to actively grow in every single thing that you lack, especially your weaknesses, because most of the time we use our strengths as a front. But yeah, let's try that for 7 days. I'm also gonna try it for 7 days, and then I'll come back and tell you guys maybe what are the results, right? So let's maybe have also a journal, right? Let's also have a journal. So for 7 days, we're gonna be actively being curious, childlike curiosity, and then we're going to journal every single day. And then maybe you guys can drop it in the comments below. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll form a WhatsApp group or something and put a QR code here where we can all share what we experienced during those 7 days, and then I'll make a video maybe of us reflecting on that as 20-year-olds. But this is 20-something unscripted, right? Unscripted, because this whole thing is not scripted. These are just prompting themes, right, to allow maybe my thoughts to run beautifully. But this is 20-something unscripted. This is your community as a 20-year-old, where we grow together, where we figure it out together. If you haven't figured out, don't subscribe. But if you are like me and nothing makes sense, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, notifications bell, so that you get a video every time I release a new video. This is Remo Fules, your catalyst for change. See you on the next episode.